Hey everybody, Tony D and Little Joan with a hot take, and it is the hot take of the hour. What is the deal for the Trump Pence second term agenda? We've got a list of things, so I figured I'd go through them and see what their deal is. Joan's very excited, as you can see. She's just had a delicious bone and is all settled down and relaxed. Right, Joan? See your pretty face. See your pretty face. Nobody can see you. How you doing? All right. So let's go through this. These are the highlights of the platform. So they're not. Oh, you want to come over here? Come on. Read the Trump platform for second term, Joan. Here we go. So in jobs, it's create 10 million new jobs in 10 months. That's pretty possible. I think if anybody can do it, Trump can. So I don't want him to spend money doing it. I don't want him to spend government money doing it, but that's okay. Laudable. Laudable. Create 1 million new small businesses. Very good. Lower the taxes and cut regulation is the way I would do it. Number 3, cut taxes to boost take-home pay and keep jobs in America. Hooray! Libertarians love when you cut taxes. Enact fair trade deals that protect American jobs. Okay. I can go along with that. I'm not exactly sure what that means. I'm not a big fan of tariffs, but made in America tax credits. Fine with that. Again, anything that lowers taxes. Expand opportunity zones. Yeah, expand them across the country. See the shining sea. Expand away. Continue deregulatory agenda for energy independence. Totally on board. Okay, good start. On to beer virus. Eradicating the beer virus. Can't really eradicate it, but develop a vaccine by the end of 2020. Seem to be on par with that. I'm a little wary of a vaccine that would be developed that quickly, but as long as it's not mandatory to take, I'm fine with it. Return to normal in 2021. Yes, on board. Thank you. Yes. Make all critical medicines and supplies for healthcare workers in the United States. Totally on board with that. Refill stockpiles and prepare for future pandemics. Yeah, sure. You don't go too nuts, but yeah, we should have something. Another big hit. End our reliance on China. Totally on board with this. Number 1, bring back 1 million manufacturing jobs from China. Sure, bring back even more. Number 2, tax credits for companies that bring back jobs from China. Totally okay with that. Allow 100% expensing deductions for essential industries like pharmaceuticals and robotics who bring back their manufacturing to the United States. Yes. It's probably going to be necessary just to make it competitive, but yes. Number 4, no federal contracts for companies who outsource to China. Okay. Yeah. I'm on board with that. And finally, hold China fully accountable for allowing the virus to spread around the world. Not sure how you do that, but I'm totally open to it. Okay, going to healthcare. Cut prescription drug prices. Well, of course, everybody's on board with that. I'm not sure how you do it without more regulation, but I'm willing to listen to your solution. Put patients and doctors back in charge of our healthcare system. Sounds good. Again, I'd like to see no more. Lower healthcare insurance premiums. Okay. Again, like to learn more. End surprise billing. Yes, I think there should be no surprise billing. You shouldn't get a surprise bill. Cover all pre-existing conditions. I think we're all on board with that. Sure. Protect Social Security and Medicare. Well, as a libertarian, I'm not totally on board with that in the long term, but in the short term, obviously, you can't just get rid of it. So it's very complicated if you're going to, undo the Social Security thing, but I'm okay with that. I wouldn't expect him to dismantle Social Security. He's not a libertarian. And, there are much more pressing issues at this point. Finally, protect our veterans, provide world class health care and services. Yes, they deserve it. Simple as that. Um, you know, it's been the VA was such a disgrace for so long, you know, uh, but at the same time, there's more to this, which I already read, but keeping them out of wars is the key. But anybody who served and got injured absolutely deserves care. Education. Provide school choice to every child in America. Totally fine with that. Teach American exceptionalism. I'm okay kind of with that to a point. I need to hear it defined. I don't want it like, America's great, everybody sucks. But I do not want BLM teaching the students Marxist propaganda, which they are. I got a pretty shocking video on Facebook from just some random dude who was showing on his computer how his daughter's being exposed to BLM, and they've got the fist, and they're teaching kids to be activists and to go out in the street and complain about everything. That's not what they should be teaching them. Kids do not have enough background to even know what to protest. So they just protest what they see two news items and they're out protesting. You can't just protest. You have to know what to protest, and they should be educated first. If they decide to protest, critical thinking is more important than protesting. If they're critical thinkers, they'll figure it out. As long as you educate people to be good thinkers and figure things out, then they can make up their own minds whether or not they need to protest. You don't need to teach people protest. You don't need to teach them to turn them into little antifas. Drain the swamp. Bit hyperbolic, but okay. Pass congressional terms limits. Yeah, sure. Libertarian, totally on board with that. End bureaucratic government bullying of U.S. citizens and small businesses. I'm not sure what that means. It sounds good. If it cuts regulation, I'm all for it, but I need to know more. Expose Washington's money trail and delegate powers back to people and states. Sure. Drain the globalist swamp by taking on international organizations that hurt American citizens. Absolutely. I'm not sure who he's referring to specifically, George Soros, but we'll see. Defend our police. It's weird you have to put this in your platform, but apparently these days you do. Fully fund and hire more police and law enforcement officers. Yeah, people are going to be all on board with that because you idiots in the riots have effed it all up. So, welcome to more police. Number 2, do I agree with it? Let me think about that. At least as a temporary measure, I suppose. But, the first thing we have to do is use the police we have. But it's another story. Number 2, increase criminal penalties for assaults on law enforcement officers. It's a tough one. I would say no. I would say what we really need is a streamlining of the laws so they can be enforced more effectively. And we need to reduce the burden on cops by legalizing drugs and prostitution. Number 3, prosecute drive-by shootings as act of domestic terrorism. Seems like a stretch. I don't know if I agree with that. 4, bring violent extremist groups like Antifa to justice. Totally on board, 100%. Go get them. They're violent. They're breaking the law. Arrest them. End cashless bail and keep dangerous criminals locked up until trial. Cashless bail. I'm not sure what he's referring to. If he's referring to what they're doing in New York, yeah, I think you got to end that. I think there needs to be something to get people to show up to court. Cashless bail seems pointless. That's like no bail. I mean, look, the judge has the option to not give you bail. Bail doesn't have to be mandatory. The judge should think it up. If he thinks you're going to show up for trial, he may say, okay, you don't need to, you know, post bail. And if you're an a-hole, then yeah, maybe you got to post bail. This is a big one for Trump. End illegal immigration to protect American workers. And this is stuff from the last election. Block illegal immigrants from becoming eligible for taxpayer-funded welfare, health care, and free college tuition. We don't have that, but sure. They shouldn't be allowed to enjoy that stuff. That's for citizens. They become citizens, then they get access to that. Mandatory deportation for non-citizen gang members. Don't we have that already? But yes. Dismantle human trafficking networks, of course. End sanctuary cities to restore our neighborhoods and protect our families. I think I have to agree with this because sanctuary cities are just, they're contradictory to the law. When it comes to the federal government, they decide who gets in and out of the country, not the states. You can't decide to say, oh, well, we're going to let in the illegal immigrants. You can't do that. It's the federal government. That's one of their jobs. So, yes, end the sanctuary cities. Let's have a sensible immigration policy, one that everybody's on board with. Prohibit American companies from replacing United States citizens with low-cost foreign workers. Sure. Yeah, all on board. The laws already exist. Just enforce them. Require new immigrants to be able to support themselves financially. Yes. This was something that they did back in the day when my ancestors on my dad's side came to this country. They asked you, if you had skills and if you had a job and you could support yourself. But we have to get the borders under control first to be able to do that. Otherwise, people just come across. Innovate for the future. Launch Space Force. Establish permanent man presence on the moon. Send the first manned mission to Mars. I guess. I'm not as excited about that. It just sounds like it's going to cost a bunch of money. I think Space Force is actually kind of important because we don't want to lose space to another country, and then we lose our ability to run the planet. Essentially, you're giving up the planet if you give up space. But the rest of the stuff, yeah, probably. If we have the money, I don't think we have the money right now. Build the world's greatest infrastructure system, win the race to 5G, and establish a national high-speed wireless internet network. I guess. I don't see how you do that without spending a S-ton of money. And who pays for that is the question, but maybe. Continue to lead the world in access to the cleanest drinking water and cleanest air. Okay. Partner with other nations to clean our planet's ocean. Sure. America first foreign policy. Stop the endless wars and bring our troops home. Excuse me, Joan. Bravo. Bravo, Trump. Yes. This is what wins the entire thing. Right here. Yeah, I could stop right here, but I'm going to read the rest. But this, numero uno, you should put this at the top of the list. But he likes to end big. Stop the endless wars and bring our troops home. Yes. Yes. And close the military bases, I would add. But he probably won't close them all. Get allies to pay their fair share. Absolutely. Pony up, Europe. Maintain and expand America's unrivaled military strength. I think you're doing that through Space Force. I'm a little wary about, just dumping money on the Pentagon. I think you need to cut the Pentagon, but this is kind of... overall, I'm not really interested in expanding America's military. But, Trump seemingly has done what he could. One of the things I think was very smart is when he took money from the Pentagon to use for the wall. So we were going to pay that money anyway. The Pentagon's pissing it away. Might as well go to something that actually does something. Wipe out global terrorists who threaten to harm Americans. Well, of course, sure. Build a great cyber security defense system and missile defense system. Again, I don't know. Cybersecurity, I'm more on board than necessarily missile defense system, but I don't know if we need more missile defense. If we get the technology, missiles may become superfluous. Maybe lasers. Probably is already lasers. We don't know it. But Sounds like a great platform to me. I mean, this is a lot of stuff. It's ambitious. I mean, Trump's always been ambitious. And I think, anybody who reads this, there's a lot here to agree with. I don't agree with everything. Some of it's like, I don't know. Some of it's just, yeah, of course, we're going to dismantle the human trafficking networks. Like, that's already illegal. Some of it's just repeating things. But, yeah. Yeah, let's do it. So check out the new Trump president second term agenda, because this is the platform now. This is the new GOP, and it's exciting. It's great to see them in this stuff, actually doing stuff that isn't just lining their own pocket or extending their political careers. Go Trump, go.